Coming up, Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate hold their first rally together.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Vice President Kamala Harris has made her decision for a presidential running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The Democratic presidential nominee introduced her pick to voters in Pennsylvania late today as the newly minted ticket kicked off their battleground state tour. CBS's Skylar Henry begins our coverage from Washington.
Vice President Kamala Harris hit the stage with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in Philadelphia, officially introducing the former high school teacher and football coach to the nation as her running mate.
In 91 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by another name, Vice President of the United States. It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Harris made the call to the two-term governor early Tuesday.
It'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
Tapping the straight-talking Midwesterner to help make the case against the Trump-Vance ticket.
You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see.
Sources close to the selection process tell CBS News it was Walz's leadership experience and strong rapport with Harris that pushed the military vet to the top of the list. Harris and Walz are now embarking on a 5-day swing through several battleground states with stops in Wisconsin and Michigan Wednesday.
When elected, we will govern on behalf of all Americans.
The Trump campaign wasted no time calling the new Harris-Walz ticket dangerously liberal, with Ohio Senator J.D. Vance taking that message to Philadelphia voters Tuesday.
Tim Walz's record is a joke. He's been one of the most far-left radicals in the entire United States government at any level.
The Republican vice presidential nominee is set to deliver remarks in Detroit Wednesday, hours before Harris and Walz make a campaign stop in the city. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The Harris campaign says it raised more than $20 million in the first 6 hours after the announcement of Governor Tim Walz as the VP pick. As the Harris campaign looks for Walz to broaden the ticket's appeal to moderates and independents, former President Donald Trump's campaign is responding to Harris's decision to bring Walz onto the ticket. At a rally in Philadelphia today, Republican vice presidential candidate Senator J.D. Vance said Governor Walz was selected by the, quote, Hamas wing of the Democratic Party.
Kamala Harris listened to the Hamas wing of the party. She selected Tim Walz, a guy who wants to ship more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to give illegal aliens driver's license, and who wants to make the fentanyl crisis that we just heard about so much worse.
Vance also said today he called Governor Walz to offer congratulations and said he'd be open to debating him as it's, quote, the right thing to do. Harris's VP announcement has also raised questions like what's next for Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. Beshear was previously considered on the unofficial short list of VP contenders. We talked to political science experts who say the governor's fate is really anyone's guess. He has previously said he would be open to going where he feels he can best serve Kentuckians, but the opportunities for him to do so are limited.
There are lots of opportunities to serve your country if that is what he wants to do. But in terms of Kentucky politics, this is pretty much the end of that unless he wants to run for Senate, which I don't foresee.
In a statement from Governor Beshear, he says although it was an honor to be considered in the VP vetting process, Tim Walz is, quote, a great friend and a great choice. Senator Mitch McConnell visited McCreary County today, where he gave an update on what's going on in Washington and talked about his future. WYMT's Caroline Mueller was there.
Senator Mitch McConnell addressed members of the McCreary County community, including some state and county leaders. He began on an international level, highlighting his pro-military stance.
There is some movement in the direction of isolationism in our country, and I think that is a really dangerous thing to our future.
The war in Ukraine and U.S. involvement in Middle Eastern conflict were major topics. When talking about the defense budget, he explained it is cheaper to be prepared for war and praised NATO, while saying other countries are looking to us for guidance.
Trust me, there's nobody else in the democratic world that has
He then outlined what he sees as the most pressing issues facing the nation and the Commonwealth.
The two biggest national problems are inflation and the border.
He describes these issues as, quote, unforced errors created by the current administration.
Not a mistake that they made, but they wanted to do it, and we're paying the price for it.
McConnell also addressed his decision to step down as the party's leader.
What I want to focus on for the next couple of years is helping Kentucky in every single way that I can, and we've tried to do that over and over again.
Chamber of Commerce president for the county, Michelle Perry, says she hopes McConnell will put his focus towards small businesses.
Our community is made up of small businesses, so that would be where we'd hope he'd put his focus towards.
McConnell ended by reflecting on his years in Congress and says he hopes his leadership has changed the way people think of Kentucky. In McCreary County, Caroline Mueller, WYMT, Mountain News.
Senator McConnell will officially step away from his position as the Republican Party leader in November, but he will remain an active member of the Senate.
Well, there's another hot one out there today. We had temperatures in the low to mid 90s. Some places had heat indices well into the triple digits. I'm looking at Monticello, where you guys had a heat index around 106 earlier today. Highs today made it into the low 90s, 91 Jackson, as well as Hazard and Manchester, 93 Somerset, 95 in Ashland, 93 in Louisville. Look at Charleston, 98 degrees. And right now, Charleston, West Virginia is sitting at 82 at the 11 o'clock hour. We're 10 cooler in Hazard, 82 in Jackson, 73 in Manchester, 76 in London, 78 is the temperature in Monticello. But look at the feels like temperature again, 11 o'clock at night, 84 in Jackson, 84 Prestonsburg, 84 Moorhead, 74 Irvin, 78 in Somerset. Now the next 12 hours keeps us in the upper 70s as we go throughout the evening or throughout the overnight hours. By the time you wake up in the morning, we'll see temperatures in the 60s and 70s. All is clear on live pinpoint Doppler radar, but again, when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 60s and 70s will greet you. I'll have your complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thanks. The trial against a man accused of killing Laurel County London police officer Logan Medlock will continue tomorrow. Casey Bird, who requested a change of venue, is on trial in Warren County. He faces charges of murder, first-degree criminal mischief, possession of a controlled substance, and DUI in connection with the alleged drunk driving crash in 2022. Witness testimony continued late into this afternoon. The jury and witnesses also watched body camera footage of responding officers' first interactions with Bird after the deadly crash. Bird claims he swerved to avoid a deer. Police are looking for a missing man in Laurel County. 36-year-old Preston Collier was last seen Saturday off Keavy Road, 4 miles south of London. He was wearing a white shirt and cargo shorts. If you have any information, you can call the Laurel County Sheriff's Office at 606-864-6600 or send a message to the Sheriff's Office on Facebook. Again, there's the number you can call if you have any information. Police are looking for the suspect in an unusual break-in in Corbin. Employees at the Subway and the Trade Mart Shopping Center noticed the business was broken into overnight. Surveillance footage captured a man entering the building through the drive-through window, then leaving with cash register boxes. But the suspect dropped his phone. He later went back to get the phone, but he didn't find it.
He came back at 3:30 a.m. and made a sandwich while he was inside and then left again. You can't make stuff like that up. It had to be drug related. I mean, I can't imagine that anyone in the right state of mind would have left their cell phone to begin with, but then when they came back and couldn't find their cell phone, just decided to make a sandwich.
Police identified the suspect as Timothy Randolph. They say he has been known to visit several homeless camps in the area. People in Harlan County made their way to the Church of the Resurrection to celebrate the life of Mike Obradovich. WYMT's Madison Carmouche was in Lynch to hear from those whose lives he impacted.
A lifelong native of Lynch, Mike Obradovich was someone to look up to in Harlan County.
Just a good guy, good bulldog. You know, a lot of times people say that people do things for recognition. Mike done it for contribution.
Not only did Mike contribute to his community, but he leaves a Bulldog legacy for them to hold on to.
Him and his wife are the restoring of all the history of Lynch, and especially the Bulldog room. That was his favorite thing. But people normally would have never given that stuff up without, the respect for Mike.
Mike and his wife of 53 years, Mary Jo, used their love of Lynch to create a place for memories to live forever.
His wife, Mary Jo, hey, hand to hand, anything that Mike wanted to do, Mary Jo was right there with him and worked just as hard as he did.
Mike was a coal miner who turned his career into a passion, later becoming a tour guide for Portal 31.
We're proud of that. We're proud of that. We come together as people and we work together in the mines. And it's just a family now that everybody cares so much about a man like Mike Obradovich.
And as family and friends say their goodbyes in Mike's beloved hometown, they are choosing to remember the legacy he created in the place he loved.
No place like home.
In Lynch, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
That interview that Madison did with Mike was just a few months ago. Mike Obradovich died on Friday at 77 years old. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, Redbird Christian School hosts a back-to-school bash, also offering help with the FAFSA.
And as we go throughout your Wednesday, we'll see temperatures in the 90s again, but there is relief on the way. I'll tell you when that'll arrive in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Stay with us.